to explain the evidence at hand with the story that they were trying to sell to the American public.
Well, hey, Trump could have disclosed the paperwork, and he hid it for another 25 or 50 years or something like that. That explains what happened, or am I wrong? Didn't he?
He disclosed what he was allowed to, and then they made him classify the rest of it, right? But
yeah, something like that.
He should have just declassified everything. Like, he screwed himself.
Yeah, because everybody that's involved is like, if there's even somebody alive, they're so damn old.
I'm betting it implicated the CIA because, like you said,
that's what I wondered.
It has to be like an agency connection, and that's the reason it wasn't released, because it would have caused too much turmoil in between the government.
He told Roger Stone that he won't believe what's in the classified JFK.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it was ultimately.
That makes me wonder if it is ETs.
Yeah, maybe it's something even bigger. I don't know. And maybe you gotta think, like, by this point they might have sanitized and replaced a lot of stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Roger Stone's nuts. I mean, there's not much he won't believe.
What on earth ever happened to JFK's brain anyway? How does and how do you even leave? Start out in a nice casket and then you end up in Washington in like a pauper's casket.
Oh yeah, that whole story there on the airplane is so bizarre. Everything about this whole thing is so darn bizarre, man.
Yeah, plus a president like that, there'd be a ton of Secret Service around and everything. There's no way somebody could do that unless they had high level connections.
Yeah, they had Secret Service. There's people in the Secret Service were involved. So about the Secret Service connections and everything, I talked about Albert Borland, the first black Secret Service agent, and he tried to blow the whistle on the plot in Chicago, where they had a plot in Chicago. They were going to kill JFK there, and then they decided that Dallas was like the best spot because they had everyone, all the right people set up in Dallas, and
right. So it's supposed that they were already planning to do it somewhere else, and then that they chose to do it where they did it, and they did it.
When was the Chicago plot?
So Abraham Borland, is this the guy's name? No, what was it? Oh no, hold up. Let me find the guy's name now.
What are you looking for, Jer?
The Secret Service agent.
Oh, okay.
Bolden is his name.
There's a lot of Abrahams involved in this situation.
Abraham Bolden. Yeah, this was the Secret Service agent. They put him in prison and tried to say that he was crazy and all this stuff. They
never even heard of him.
Yeah, they put a whole bunch of
black man. He's the first African American, you said, secret agent, or is this a different agent?
Exotic Propulsion.
Is seeking $50,000 for a secret file on the investigation. Oh, so they made up all this stuff about him, and he talks about it in an interview later. After he got out and had to go through all this crap, and he's like, they silenced him.
Thank God they released him, though.
Is he still alive? Maybe somebody could get a hold of him.
The interview with this, yeah. So the allegations of the Chicago plot to assassinate John F. Kennedy. All right, so you're not seeing this because fucking goddamn Mac suck. All right, this is great stuff, man. I had no idea this guy even existed, and I was like, what? This guy's like, this is like serious history, man, that they charged this guy with false charges. They
framed him, and that this guy's like the missing key to put the JFK assassination on the CIA, essentially.
Yeah. Well, no, on the Secret Service. So that to show that not only was the CIA involved in, Ruth Payne's sister, so Ruth Payne goes and meets her sister who works with the CIA in September of 1963, and then drives down through New Orleans and picks up Marina Oswald and brings the Oswalds back to Dallas with her right after that. It's all it's all like clockwork with this. So the CIA is different than the Secret Service. You have the Secret Service that didn't like agents that didn't like Kennedy. A couple of them on top. You ever seen the Secret Service stand down protest?
They did what?
Let's look up JFK Secret Service stand down.
No, I never heard of that.
Yeah. All right.
So where JFK was shot, they pulled the Secret Service agents off.
Right before he was shot, man, they pulled a Secret Service agent.
Everything seemed normal as the president's Secret Service bodyguards kept their ever watchful eyes on the crowd. Everything seemed normal as the president's motorcade began its journey. Everything seemed normal. That is, up until this instant. What took place is so odd that we're going to examine the scene 4 more times.
Yeah, you see him pulling his hands up.
Is this the same day?
Watch the left side of your screen.
Yeah,
the
this
arrow
is
points to agent in
a few
charge,
seconds before it
Robbins,
happened.
as he stands
Oh
in
my
a Secret
God.
Service follow-up car,
Why'd he run off?
motions with his hand. What
Holy crap, man.
he is doing is calling away the president's 2 most important bodyguards.
Sure is.
The bodyguards whose job was to protect the president's back by
1
riding
and
the
2.
bumper of the limousine throughout the motorcade.
Like what?
That was what? 15
Literally
minutes?
right
Sorry.
before. Okay, that's
So this
not
is
a
the follow-up
setup at
limousine.
all.
So the follow-up limousine has all the Secret Service agents in it, and the head Secret Service agent in charge stands up and pulls those guys off the back of the bumper, so that they should have been riding on the bumper. Their job was to
They're
ride
like,
on the back of that bumper and
"Stop it."
dive on the president to act like human shields to protect the president. And they were pulled off. As soon as they heard gunfire, they would have dove in on top of JFK and been, he would have never got that final headshot off.
Watch again as he stands and orders the agents running at the rear of the president's car away. Watch the confusion inside the follow-up car that results.
Conspirator.
Yeah, that is crazy, bro.
Yeah, that
really
Secret Service
intentional.
agent who ordered those other 2 agents off the back of the bumper, he should have been arrested and investigated.
Is there any interviews with the Secret Service agents that say why they did that? What orders were given or anything like that? You would think there'd have to be, right? The Warren Commission or something. What were you guys doing? Just abandon the back of the.
Yeah, there's a bunch of talk about this too, about the agents that were supposed to be on there and what happened.
Wow, there you go. There's a Secret Service agent right there. The guy.
They break their silence. Right there.
Yeah, that guy there. Yeah.
They clearly thought it was a bunch of bull being pulled off. You can see the guy is like, he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, well, exactly. He's like, this isn't what we do. Obviously, they practice that all the time.
And like, what happened to those guys afterwards? Were they ever heard of or like talked to, interviewed about it? Like,
Man,
yeah,
really
I think they were quite a bit, but I want to listen to them because you go and you go and watch the guys who documented what all the Parkland doctors saw, and they all like showed that they all showed like that this part of his head was blown out. Like it was a shot from the front, entry hole here, and shot here. Like all the doctors unanimously say that. I wonder what the Secret Service agents all say about this and stuff. If there's any, you get this guy and he's probably the most popular. So I wouldn't necessarily say that his is the most important, and you got to dig a little deeper than to find these other guys.
Isn't he the one that down the.
I want to go get all that information together because I want to know exactly who those Secret Service agents were. There's names of them everywhere. It'd be good to get all the research done into that because the Secret Service element is definitely key to understanding the assassination plot and who was behind it, because the Secret Service would have had to have access to the Air Force One and to the caskets on the plane and all that stuff. So
do we know about other video recordings then, especially from the media? I would think the media would have the best lenses back then and the best view. I mean,
When shots rang out in Dallas.
Film backup, maybe, at least.
Oh yeah, there's that other footage.
That's the Nix film.
Yeah.
So let's go look at the Nix film. Actually, I want to see the Nix film.
We need to synchronize them and triangulate the audio. I know somebody else has already did that, but I can't.
There's no audio. It's 8mm camera footage, man. There was no audio. It wasn't like cameras nowadays, man.
Somebody else did it from like you said, the video didn't have audio, but somebody else had a separate audio recording they synchronized to it.
You know what's really weird? Back then, the news could have been there and filmed it, but they weren't even there, right?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a weird thing, isn't it?
They would have had the highest quality cameras.
Think about that, Jeremy. The news wasn't even there filming. You know, that is really weird. You know, I mean, you think about that. Back then, you had 3 channels: CBS, NBC, and ABC. You didn't have cable or nothing like that. This is 63.
Walter Cronkite said he saw the Zapruder film, and there was no editing, no jumps in the video like there is that we see now.
Oh yeah, well remember didn't Time Life or one of them buy it and they wouldn't give it up? They had it for like 20 years.
Yeah,
and they gave Zapruder $300,000 for it back then, which would be millions and millions.
Well, it's interesting because they didn't show it to the public right away. What they did is they showed it to Dan Rather, who was a young Fox.
Oh, okay.
He was a young reporter at the time, and his job was to tell the American public what was on the Zapruder film. Okay.
You're right.
Oh, that's right, Jeremy. Yes, I've told you, man. It's been a long time since I've.
Let's listen to this because this is real interesting because this is what Dan Rather would rather you not know about the whole history about how he became a CIA Mockingbird asset. He was a nobody. He was a nobody.
Yeah.
This made his career, man. They're like, listen, you cooperate with us and lie to the American public about what's really on the Zapruder film.
Take care of you forever.
We'll take care of you forever. Now,
but we also own.
The films we saw were taken by an amateur photographer who had a particularly good vantage point just past the building from which the fatal shot was fired. The films show President Kennedy's open black limousine making a left turn off Houston Street onto Elm Street on the fringe of downtown Dallas. A left turn made just below the window in which the assassin was waiting. About 35 yards past the very base of the building, just below the window, President Kennedy could be seen to put his right hand up to the side of his head to either brush back his hair or perhaps rub his eyebrow. President Kennedy was sitting on the same side of the car as the building from which the shot came. Mrs. Kennedy was by his side in the jump seat in front of them. Mrs. Connolly and Governor Connolly. Governor Connolly on the same side of the car as the president, and in the front seat, 2 Secret Service men. Just as the president put that right hand up to the side of his head, you could see him lurch forward. The first shot had hit him. Mrs. Kennedy was looking in another direction and apparently didn't see or sense that first shot or didn't hear it. But Governor Connolly in the seat in front appeared to have heard it, or at least sensed that something was wrong. The governor's coat was open. He reached back in this fashion, exposing his white shirt front to the assassin's window. He reached back as if to offer aid or ask the president something. At that moment, a shot clearly hit the governor in the front, and he fell back in the seat. Mrs. Connolly immediately threw herself over him in a protective position. In the next instant, with this time Mrs. Kennedy apparently looking on, a second shot, the third total shot, hit the president's head. His head could be seen to move violently forward. And Mrs. Kennedy stood up immediately.
What was that? What was that? His head was seen to move violently forward. So this is the most replayed on the video because everyone goes back here and watches and replays that.
President's head. His head could be seen to move violently forward.
Now we know that's absolutely a lie, and that the CIA-controlled media planted that false narrative in the American public's mind, and that the official Zapruder film that we can now watch on YouTube, that anyone can see, was shown for the first time on Geraldo.
Oh, that's right. It was a long
we
time.
need to save all the stuff like this before it gets edited.
By Lee Harvey Oswald alone.
Yeah, so this is March 6, 1975 on Goodnight America, and this is the first time that the Zapruder film was shown to the American public. And it's a very poor quality version, very,
I've always wondered about that. Okay, you know the headshot, where he kind of like goes like this right before we see the headshot. I always wondered if maybe he was just grazed at first and that's why he went that, or maybe, like a fly or something, you just kind of do it out of reaction. I kind of wonder if maybe there was, he either got grazed or, maybe something small hit him on a ricochet or something. And that's the reason why he put up his hand like that.
First shot happens behind the freeway sign. It happens right before he emerges from the freeway sign, because you can see his hands go up to his throat and he starts grabbing at his throat. Right as the
emergence. Maybe you're thinking? Are you thinking from the front, Jeremy?
Well, he gets shot through the throat, and this is where the windshield's cracked too. Right here, there's a crack.
Oh, that's right. There was a crack in the windshield. Yeah.
So they took the whole limousine out and replaced it all. They went and redid the whole thing before they even put it in evidence and brought it. Like it was, the whole thing was redone. The whole windshield was replaced to hide the extra bullet holes and stuff too. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, he comes out from the right before he gets from the Stemmons Freeway sign is right when he gets shot in the throat. So there's a bullet in his throat or something. His hands go up into this position, and there's a medical surgeon who says when you get shot like there, it's like a thing that your body will react and do this kind of thing. So this is what he does. So he's grabbing at his throat. Okay, that's the first shot. Now the second shot, okay. You can see that there's a second shot in here somewhere. So Connolly's here now, turning around, looking backwards to look back. It's to see what's going on. He turns around completely back that way. He's looking at JFK.
Yeah, he looks like he's hurt there.
Oh yeah, he was hit in the throat, I think, right?
All right, so he gets hit right here somewhere. Okay, so Connolly doesn't get hit till right there somewhere. Because look, Connolly's sitting here, staring right at JFK, looking right at him, of course, and then right around here somewhere, he gets hit. Because look at all of a sudden, before the headshots happen, now his head's turned sideways and he's wailing in agony. Okay.
Man.
Yeah, it's awful.
And then the third shot happens. So it's hard to think. And then his head goes back into the left. So Dan Rather clearly lied about the head. The president's head was seen to move violently forward. No, it didn't.
Right.
Yeah, boy, they made him say that too, because he's reading from a script. It's quite clear.
Yeah, he is. And the CIA wrote it.
He looks like he's got a gun to his head as he was reading it.
Hey, where was the bullet hole in the windshield?
Very high to the top of the window.
Yeah, so you can see it right here, this little white
part.
Okay,
that's it now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wrong, man.
So that would mean that the person would basically have to be directly ahead of them.
Is that in the glass? I don't know if that's it.
I thought it was towards the top. I could be totally wrong, man. I don't know. I'm not up to par on this.
We had a film copy instead of a video copy.
But you can definitely see that